What's going on, chum bags? So it's been a little bit over a week. I apologize, I've been busy with some other things. We got a lot of new content that's going to be on my YouTube channel. Today I've been spending a whole day cleaning up the pig pen. I'm going to rebuild that this year. We're going to have a lot of exciting stuff on that. It's been kind of nasty the last couple days, so I haven't been doing much fishing, but I've been doing a lot of art. And today we're going to talk about swim baits, and not just all swim baits, but a specific swim bait. Since I'm going to be talking about tackle every week, I want to talk about specific types of tackle. So one of my favorite swim baits for South Florida is the Savage Gear 3D Bluegill. Now this right here, it comes in several different sizes. This is I believe this is the 5-inch, and then they have a 4-inch, and I think this is 5 inches. I think so. Yeah, it's got to be. Okay. So this is the 5-inch bluegill, and then this is the 6-inch bluegill. They also have a 4-inch. I don't really deal with the 4-inch. It's a little smaller and it doesn't have the same action. When you're fishing for largemouth bass, don't be worried about your lure being too big. Bass will eat anything, as you can see. You don't have to be so concerned about throwing small stuff. When you try to get big largemouth, the big baits work. So the only difference between the 5-inch and the 6-inch is the 5-inch has 2 treble hooks, one in the front on the top and one on the bottom. They look kind of strange if you guys never fished these lures before, because you're kind of wondering, how is a fish going to get hooked way up here with all this back here? Well, these lures these aren't made to catch small fish. They're made to catch big fish. And when a big fish sees a lure like this swimming in the water, they commit to it from a little distance of a ways. And usually they're going to be pretty big fish. So most of the fish that are going to hit this lure are going to put the whole thing in their mouth. So with this, the treble hooks on the top, it'll catch the fish in the top of the mouth or on the bottom. On the 6-inch, it's a line through. Now what that means is that the line gets fed in through here, and then it comes out either through the top or the bottom, and then that's what you tie your treble hook to. The reason for the line through is because these baits are really heavy. I think this one's like 5 ounces. So as you guys know, you catch a big largemouth bass, they come to the surface, they shake their head, and they'll throw a heavy lure. So what the line through does, as soon as the fish bites it and gets hooked, it deploys from the lure. So now when the fish shakes its head, it can't use this weight as leverage to throw the hook. It's just throwing just a bare hook, or it's trying to throw it. So when you're using really big baits, the line through helps out a lot. It really does. But I've actually hooked into a couple really big fish with the 5-inch one, and they got thrown off because of that. Now when I fish the line through, a lot of people like to put the hook on the bottom. I guess the main reason is because most lures you ever see have the hook on the bottom. I enjoy having the hook on the top. The reason being is it's now weedless on the bottom, so I can drag it lower on the ground. And also, usually when I hook into a fish, these sharp treble hooks hook right into the roof of their mouth, right back there. And usually when the hook goes in the spot like that, they can't throw it. So I enjoy keeping it on the top, but you can do whatever one you like. Also, another thing that I do, another tip, is even though this is a very heavy lure, it's very buoyant. I'm gonna put up you're gonna see some video here shortly of me using this bait underwater and seeing how it moves. But it really only drops about a foot a second, if that much. So if I'm fishing some deep water, I'll get these little inserts, these little weight inserts, and the good thing about it is you can break it off to any length or any weight you want, and then I'll insert them inside the fish in the middle. Make sure that it's centered, because if not, then when you're fishing the lure, it's going to be tilted. As you can see in this one, I actually had the weight sticking right in the middle, right there. And a lot of people, they think because or they don't have the patience to let the lure drop down to the water column they want to. They throw the bait, they wait a couple seconds, and then they just start reeling it in. I like to fish these lures lower in the water column. And usually when you're fishing lower in the water column, fish are a little more aggressive, and they're not as peculiar on what's going on. But for South Florida, these lures work great. They're so realistic. As you can see, this one's supposed to look like a Midas cichlid. This one is a dark colored bluegill, and then the one I got tied up right here is a light colored bluegill. Now I tie it on 30-pound leader with a loop knot. That's the main reason why I use leader. As you see, I don't really have that much on it. The main purpose is just for the loop knot, just because it gives it more action for swimming. There's two ways that I fish this lure. The most common way I fish it is just cast and reel it in. Like with any other lure, you're going to want to play around with it in the water, in shallow water, and just see what works for you. But basically, like I said, it drops a foot about every second. So I'm fishing in 10 feet of water. I want it to be around 8 feet. I'll cast it, I'll count down to 8, and then start reeling it in slowly. And when you reel it in slowly, it literally just looks like a swimming bluegill. It's perfect, and you don't have to do no action. You don't have to do nothing to it. Just slow reel. You're not really gonna feel anything. It's not gonna be much vibration. You're gonna feel like you're just reeling in some dead weight, but it's working and it's moving. The only other way that I fish this is just with a lot of finesse, a lot of just different action, and that's gonna emulate a bluegill that's maybe feeding, chasing at the bait, or maybe injured. Both techniques I'm going to show you guys underwater. As you'll see, the first way I'm going to throw it, I'm just going to swim it in slowly so you can see how it works. The second way I'm going to swim it by is going to be with a little more action, a little finesse. You can see the different action of the bait. And then also I'll show you one really good thing that I like to do. A lot of times when you fish the swim bait and you're just slowly swimming it in, a bass will follow it for a long amount of time. So if you swim it really good and then you stop and then you give it a little twitch, you can actually make the swim bait turn all the way around like it's looking at the bass. And they hate that. If they're following something and then it just stops, turns around and looks. Hey, what's up guys? Sorry about that little GoPro malfunction. Okay, so the first presentation that you're going to see is just a steady swim, just slow, steady reeling it in. You'll see the realistic movement of the swim bait, and just see how it is made to perform. Alright, let's check it out. That was pretty cool, guys. Alright, so as you can see, it's very lifelike. So now I'm going to show you a second presentation. This presentation is going to be a lot more finesse, a lot more working of the rod tip, just feeling out and playing with the lure. You can see this presentation is more for like an erratic, moving, injured bluegill, or maybe one that's feeding on something or chasing bait. So let's check out the difference in the presentations. Now see, that was pretty cool too. Now you can see the thing looks very realistic. I even you can even, if you know that the bottom is clear like that, you can bounce it on the bottom and rub up a little dirt. It really turns the fish on. So now on this third presentation, I'm going to show you guys what I was talking about swimming that bluegill, just easily just swimming it, and then you're going to pause for a second and then do a twitch, and it's going to make that bluegill turn all the way around. So there'll be scenarios where you'll just be throwing this swim bait, maybe 30 minutes, maybe an hour, and you'll just see a big bass following it in, and you're going to want to do that little twitch, and then watch it turn around on it. Bass will nail it every time. Let's watch. Alright, what's up guys? So I hope you enjoyed the video. As you can see, the first presentation, just steady swimming, looks beautiful. Savage Gear 3D bluegill, it's definitely got some amazing action. The more erratic way of swimming it, seems like that peacock bass enjoy that a lot. And then I didn't have the most room possible in my casting area, because like I said, I just started cleaning out the pig bin today, but I was able to get it a couple times for it to turn all the way around. So I hope you're able to see that at the end of the video. So those are just different techniques on how to fish it. I think they go for about 13 bucks, $12–13 a piece. Don't buy a lure that expensive if you're going to be afraid to throw it. You need to throw it in structure, you need to throw it around places. If you lose one, you lose one. But these are the type of lures, especially in the winter, in the spring, that are going to pull that big fish out, and really all year long, because in this clear water down here in South Florida, something that looks realistic like that, and bluegills being one of the main sources of protein or food for the fish down here, you will catch a big fish on them. So go out there and get you 1, 2, 5, 10 of them. Learn how to fish them, and I promise you, you'll catch a big largemouth. You'll have some huge peacocks follow it in, and you might catch a peacock every now and then too. So good luck guys, thank you for following. A lot more videos to come, a lot more reviews on lures, a lot more coming with the pig pen, and hopefully we'll have some good adventures coming up soon. Maybe some saltwater adventures on a boat with Dylan and family, and we'll see what happens. All right, God bless. Sheesh.